But we'll move on to our innocent invaders, who are totally innocent. And
Didn't do nothing.
I know it's a meme, but it really is a meme.
Yeah.
That is true. And we'll start off just by mentioning Carl's written a new article. It's called The Last Country Occupied by the British Empire. Can you guess?
I actually proofread this, so I know the answer, but I'm not going to spoil it for everyone. Please go and watch it because it's an excellent... not watch it, read it. It's an excellent analogy.
Do go and check it out. The census data has been published for people who don't know. Just the data about how many foreigners live here.
Yeah.
Not on the ethnicity data.
That's
still
on
to be
the
investigated.
21st, I believe.
Yeah, but we'll just take a look at the people who aren't on that list. For one, which is the illegals, of course. Because Stella Braverman decided to come out, the new Home Secretary, for all that matters, and say something correct, which of course has caused fracas. How dare she? Why not just lie 24/7?
Yep.
So she said that let's stop pretending that they are all refugees in distress. The whole country knows that is not true. Yeah. You can just go talk to them.
Yep.
If you got a hotel in your town, like me, just go and have a word with the people there. Oh, what's your name? Get out Google Translate if you have to. Why are you here? Oh, yeah, I come through Italy and then France and then I come here. It's like, yep, so you're not meant to be here.
Yeah, you're like student backpackers.
You're just an illegal alien who is begging for money. That's
Yep.
why you're here, not in Italy. You didn't stop at a safe country.
The crying from the opposite benches as well when she said this, it was
Yeah.
deafeningly annoying.
Should we take a look at some people who aren't refugees in distress?
Let's go for it.
Somali asylum seeker? Seeking asylum from what? Mohammed Ismail carried out a terrifying sex attack on a woman in Birmingham. He pushed his way into her home, molested her. As she fought back, she was stabbed in the throat, but was able to escape. He's been given 2 years and 3 months, which is a tiny sentence for what is being described there. It's not proportionate.
Capital punishment needed.
But Mohammed here was seeking asylum from his inner self.
Yeah.
I no reason to be here. Just let him in. Why not? There's also poor souls out there who we are filming as journos go down and meet the boat people. They tell them, well, why are you here? Why are you here? How long have you been in France? This man responded, 7 years in France, 5 years in prison.
But again, all of this being so organised, them all looking like they're having a jolly, they're all carrying the boat together like collective responsibility. It looks like a bunch of students on a PGL trip, doesn't it? It looks like they're about to go river rafting before they go and have their buffet lunch. It is a jolly for them.
It's exciting,
Yeah.
for sure. But it's all in the aid of begging.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know you will get more money in England, and therefore, even if you have to spend 5 years in prison in France, for what? Who knows?
Yeah, but then you've also just had your bed and board provided to you in a prison in France from the French taxpayer as well.
Sure, but I don't think he's actually ever been in prison for the illegal immigration.
No, not for that, of course.
He probably wasn't in there for shoplifting either.
No.
His loaf of bread because he was starving to death, the poor lad.
Yeah.
I think he might have been in there for something a bit worse, to get 5 years in a French prison. But anyway, as soon as they let him out, they didn't deport him in France, they sent him to us. Thanks, France. Cool, very cool. And then we have the celebrity response to Suella Braverman's comments. We have Adil Ray here, who decided to openly admit that, yes, indeed, they only call white ministers racist because it's a tactic, whereas they can't do it to Suella, and he's upset. What would be the response if a white minister had used the word invasion? What would some be calling him, her? Is the feeling that a British Asian has a free pass when referring to those asylum seekers? We called the National Front racist for similar language in the 70s.
Well, it's very queerphobic of them to not consider alternative pronouns, of course. But
Sure, but Adil over here is openly admitting that, yes, indeed, the only reason they call white people racist
it's because
when
it works.
they know they're not is
Yep.
because it works. They
Yep.
get away with it. It's entirely a tactic. They do not have any sincere beliefs about your racism. And remember who is talking. Someone who is actually racist. Adil. If we go to the next link here. This is if we can get it up, there should be another link in there, John, if you can load it. Because we have the fact that, well, Adil isn't the nicest folk.
Right.
You may remember he went on a TV program with Konstantin Kissin. Well, it was his TV program, Adol's TV program. I don't know if it's the next one then, John, if it's not there, but if you can load it up. It's a quote from the book, from Konstantin Kissin's book, which is Konstantin was there, had a debate about whether London was English, and then I believe it's Adol. I mean, you can tell if it's not. Just tweet it that it
was this
wasn't you.
GMB by any chance?
Yeah,
Because I remember it being the John Cleese comment originally.
I've been told it's him, but if it isn't, then he can just publicly say it's not, and we'll find the proof. Yeah, apparently he turned to Constantine and said, "I'm so glad that there are no white British people in part of this debate." Cool. So the guy who's going to sit there and tell you about how we need to call Suella Braverman racist is actually a racist, and he's just using tactics here. He has no consistency about any of this, other than he wants the country to be continually made non-English. and is something he is excited about.
Again, back to the Frank Herbert quote, when I'm weaker than you, I ask for freedom, because that's according to your principles. When I'm stronger than you, I take away your freedom, because it's according to my principles.
If you go to the next one here, we can see Femi pointing out that she called it an invasion, and they all lost their minds to that. If you go to the next one, it calls the Conservatives to come out and just pick up their dictionaries and tweet the dictionaries. We have here, definition of invasion, an occasion when a large number of people or things come to a place that is an annoying and unwanted way. Yeah, there we are. Thank you, cons, for pulling out your dictionaries. Thing is, it's kind of annoying, and I get why you do it. It's an easy win, obviously. The dictionary definition is right. You're not wrong.
Well, when they haven't changed it subversively.
You kind of let the debate be ripped away from the reality when we are discussing the word invasion instead of the actual invasion on the beach. And, of course, this is called a lot of leftist tears, which were quite funny. We'll enjoy that, I suppose. We have one Islamo leftist who decided to come out and say, disgusted to hear Suella Braverman say there's an invasion of our southern coast just a day after a migrant detention centre was firebombed. Language like this, portraying migrants as invaders, whips up hate and spreads division. No, it's the rapes, terrorism and theft that spread division and hate.
I can see
on the British public.
I'm top response there. Yay.
Yeah, it's just like, don't you know your words are causing this by saying it's an invasion? It's like, no, funnily enough, it's the invasion and the actions of the invaders which makes the British public not like them. If the invaders had turned up and we're all doctors, engineers, and lawyers, and we're doing charity work on the side every night to integrate, they all spoke perfect English, the King's English even, with a nice upper-class accent, there would be zero hate or division or fear of such people. Because why would you feel them?
Yeah.
There's nothing to fear.
The only thing you'd have to say is, all right, lads, not all at once, because we don't have the sewage system to support this many people without upgrading it.
But if there was reason to fear, that would be the reason for the fear. Well, I mean, it's not like people are getting their houses broken into or anything. We're going to Peter Walker from The Guardian, who was also very, very hurt from these comments. Without wishing to be a bore about the subject, a serving Home Secretary describing asylum seekers as an invasion on our southern coast and in the Commons is really striking. It's the sort of language that a decade ago would have been perceived as on the far right. Yes, a decade ago, there was not an open invasion of the southern coast. Now there is. I mean, literally, 40,000 people every year are D-Daying England, and you're like, well, how can you say that's happening? Because it is.
Wasn't David Cameron raked over the coals at one point for saying almost exactly the same thing about the Calais border? And David Cameron was not at all far right.
Oh, well, yeah. I don't know. I can't remember off the top of my head what he said, but it's just the fact of like a decade ago you couldn't say the south of England was being D-Dayed every day.
Yeah.
Whereas now you can because it happens.
I actually worked out that by 2024, the rate of increase year on year of the amount of migrants that are arriving at from Calais to Dover, is going to supersede the 64,000 British men that stormed the beaches of Normandy on D-Day. So by 2024, we're going to have more migrants than young Brits at D-Day. Yeah.
There are some morons who try to intellectualize this as well. We have one such intellectual. Globally, there are around 26 million refugees. 1.4 million of them need resettlement right now. 85% of all refugees are given sanctuary in developing regions. There is no invasion of the UK. Idiots. Yeah, because the UK isn't literally as bad as Pakistan. But what are you moaning about?
But also, there's a bunch of other countries on the way to us. You're only coming here to this isolated island because you want free money.
But her argument is that stop complaining until we're literally in the same state as Sudan, one of the listed countries there. Yeah. No, I don't want to lower the level to Sudan. Thank you very much. You brain-dead idiot.
Quick thing, I looked it up. David Cameron was condemned for dehumanising language because he called the Calais migrants a swarm in 2015.
Stop swarming.
Yeah.
Good. The next link here, we can also see the fact that while the immigration minister decided to denounce Suella, this is a guy who works under her.
I know, Robert Jemerick. Yeah.
I love this. Well, in a job like mine, he says, you choose your words very carefully, and I would never demonise people coming to this country in pursuit of a better life. I agree, Minister. It is unbelievable what some people demonise. Next link, please. Rewording that. I would also never demonise people coming into my home in pursuit of a better life.
I was about to say the exact same thing. If I invade your home, Robert Jemerick, which I'm not going to do, don't worry, because your home is much nicer than mine, especially because I don't have one.
You have a better life than me. What if I break in and have it?
Yeah. Funnily enough, I can't get a home like yours because you keep bringing too many people into the country.
Yeah, obviously, in case YouTube is retarded, don't commit crime. That's the point, which is that crime bad, crime into country bad, also crime into Robert's house bad.
He's got the Paul Pelosi home invader opinion.
Yeah, whereas he's on the opinion that crime in his house bad, but crime against his country not so bad.
Yeah.
In fact, quite good. He is indeed the bike lock cuck of the entire nation. And if you wanted to take a deeper look at what's actually happening with these people, I decided to. We can see here, this is Serco, who have listed where all the Home Office contracts have gone. Turns out, this country has been divided into 3 fiefdoms of 3 companies. We have here the division. Wales and the south of England are gone to Clear Spring Ready Homes. We have Scotland, Northern Ireland, and North East Yorkshire and the Humberside going to Mears Group, and Serco getting the North West, Midlands, and the East of England. All getting divided up into little fiefdoms for these 3 companies to take in these hordes upon hordes of illegal aliens and house them, and get paid quite the pretty penny to do so. Because the thing is, who is this benefiting? Genuinely, it's not benefiting the politicians. They're getting raked over the coals from the public from it, frankly.
The local high street JD Sports, where all of these migrants go and spend all their money, apparently, judging by the amount of Nike boxes in the hotel windows down the road.
Indeed, but apart from that, who's making the serious cash out of this? And it's the people smugglers, for one. They make billions every year, which, okay. I kind of just respect the hustle at this point. Like, how are you even getting away with that?
The local councils as well, because they're paid to house them.
But then there are these guys, who I suppose you got to respect the hustle, because the hustle is big. And the most transparent group on this is in, like, they're not careful enough to try and hide it. They didn't want you to know this, but they just didn't hide it as well as Serco did. Clear Springs Ready Homes, which you're going to take a look at, because it's also where I live in the south. Because we have here Serco saying that they were awarded £1.9 billion in the largest ever contract award given to them.
Nice work if you can get it.
This is for housing these illegals. This is the biggest contract Serco's ever gotten from the government. That's saying.
As well, that was 3 years ago, so you can only guess that with this problem continuing, they're going to get tons more.
That was a 10-year contract that was given to them.
Yeah.
So we can imagine Clear Spring are on exactly the same sort of contract, except slightly bigger. And so I decided to call up the hotels just in Swindon, because that's where I live, and ask them, could I have some information about the people here? Just backgrounds, or just have a chat, or try and interview folks. Can we arrange anything? And I suppose we'll play that, because this is how it went.
Thank you for calling.
Hello there. I was wondering if I could ask questions about the people staying in the about the asylum seekers. I'm making a video about the influx of asylum seekers in Swindon. I was wondering if there's an email or someone I could ask about that.
Sorry. Do you want to speak with me, my manager, because I can give you any information?
Okay, sure.
Hello.
Hello. I called because I'd like to ask about the asylum seekers staying in Swindon. And
How can I help you?
hello there. Sorry, I don't know if I got disconnected.
Sorry, we can give you any information.
Hello?
Hello there. Is this the...
Yes, but we're not anymore. We're a private company, so we're not taking any bookings.
That's okay. I just wanted to ask, I'm making a video about the asylum seekers in Swindon. I was wondering if I could ask any information, or is there an email I could address questions to?
No, I can't comment on that, sorry.
Is there not even an email I can ask about?
Nah.
Could I ask about the company name? Maybe I can contact them.
No, we can't give out any information whatsoever.
Oh. Is that company policy or government?
It's company policy.
Very transparent individuals.
Yeah.
I love the idea that the lady there just hung up. Like, I've been transferred to the manager. I was like, hey, by the way, I'd like to ask about the asylum seekers. What?
Yeah. It was like a skit, and I don't want to kiss your backside, but stuff like this is really important, so well done for doing it, man.
It's really ridiculous as well.
I know it's
like,
ridiculous.
You could have just
yeah.
spoken like the other guy, be like, yeah, sorry, I can't give information, company policy or whatever. And the thing is, there's a reason they didn't want to talk. Because, well, I found the company responsible, Clear Spring Homes, as mentioned earlier. And let's take a look at their record, shall we? Because they're public. Thanks for that. In case you're wondering and watching. The company operates 10-year contracts with the Home Office. They write in their own reports to the investors. And to provide asylum for accommodation, support and transport services in the south of England and Wales. The Home Office contract runs until September 2029, so presumably they're on the same contract as Serco are, of about £2 billion for 10 years, which is good money. They used to get paid $170 million for 7 years, in case you're wondering. So revenue's gone up 10 times. Turnover per employee in this year was £2,472,000. Used to be about £1 million turnover per employee. This reflects growth in the number of asylum seekers accommodated under Home Office contracts, they write to their investors. Operating profit per employee this year was £166,000. The previous year it was only £28,000 per employee profit. They're making over 150 grand per employee they employ. I did look up the cost of the employees. I don't have it in here. If you work at Clear Springs Ready Homes, all of you could go on strike tomorrow and demand a tripling of your wages, and the company would still make more profit.
Can we start letting them sleep on the floor in the studio?
The money we can make.
Yeah, exactly.
That's per employee, remember?
God almighty.
Revenue growth while maintaining cost control is mainly responsible for this improvement. So that is the other scummy downside to this, which is that you don't actually have to provide very good food. You don't have to provide quite many staff in the hotel because it's a skeleton crew, unlike a for-profit hotel. So you really provide the bare bones and rake it in.
Yeah, you just put a couple of token security guards outside that don't really do anything to stop
Provide
them coming
cheap,
or going.
crappy food. What are they going to do about it?
Yeah.
And
The frustrating thing is I tweeted about the census statistics that you put me onto, and immediately I had all the libertarian think tanks coming after me and going, oh, I guess we'll just send all of our great workers home then. This is what we're complaining about. Yeah. This specifically.
Demand for asylum accommodation, they write, is driven by the arrival of asylum applicants in the UK, and the number of arrivals per year is expected to continue at a high level for the foreseeable future. They write to their own investors in 2022. That was in January. So, no matter what the government say, let's check out what the people profiting off this are saying to their investors, because, well, that's the reality. That's where these things matter, which is that this crisis is going to go on for as long as the foreseeable future, and thank you, British government, right, Clear Springs, because, oh my god, we are raking in the cash. They are doing incredibly well off of this.
There are perverse incentives at work here that keep the problem just afloat.
Don't worry, they've got real concerns, though. They've worked with people to make sure this is the best possible outcome.
Oh, great.
Local authorities are always consulted extensively on the location and operation of accommodation to ensure and promote harmonious integration of the company's service users, the illegal aliens, with the wider community. That's not happened. I can tell you right now. No one wanted it in the middle of town in Swindon.
Definitely on Linton on News, everyone was consulted there.
The company's employees are also encouraged to use greener forms of transport where possible.
Are you trying to push me to limit on the company's no swearing rule, Callum? This is just unbearably annoying.
I love that. As they brag to you, they're destroying the country for profit. They're like, by the way, we
cycle to work.
They don't. If you go to you'll see the cars. They're petrol, but whatever. Anyway, we'll move to the next link here, because we also have just the data from the Home Office. If you click on the left image there, this is just the Home Office for this year, just releasing how much they spend. The highlighted part is asylum costs alone for the Home Office, 1.5 billion per year. Cool. So that money of 2 billion contract to Clear Springs, 2 billion to Serco, 2 billion to the MERS Group, presumably. It's probably way higher. You don't get that amount of money. I mean, what is that? 6 billion over 10 years? That's no. They're spending about 15 billion over 10 years? So it's double. It's double what they're in for a double paycheck on top of what they're already reporting as profit. Speaking of profits for this year, after tax, £28 million for Clear Springs, running the hotels in the south. Last year it was 4.5 million.
Yeah, that's...
Their profits are up, what is that, 5 times?
It's 7, isn't it?
Something like that.
Dear God.
Cool. Feels good to be them. Dividends for people are 28 million pounds. Just giving all that back dividends, presumably to the directors. The directors also pay themselves 200 grand because it's a great deal for the taxpayer. If we go to the next link here, I just want to compare this to the past as well, specifically for this group. The guy who runs it and still does, he used to pay himself £1 million in salary from the contracts he got from the UK government. This was in 2016. This was revealed.
And this was a scandal from one person, and now it's everywhere. Every town, every city, every single company.
But now he pays himself 230 grand, so he's got to suffer on that.
Right.
But he does get the dividends, and the dividends are, for everyone, £28 million.
Yep.
So I'm sure he's really struggling like the rest of us. He really feels the damage this is doing to our country. Anyway, the company received most of its income back in 2016 from the 130 million 7-year contract from the Home Office. Just to put, remember, it's now 2 billion for 10 years, which isn't real because, well, if the Home Office is spending 1.5 billion, it's probably 4 billion for 10 years. So their revenue is more than 10 times what it used to be. They're the only people profiting from this. Them and the people smugglers. I don't know who else. If you want to let me know someone else is profiting from this, do let me know. Because I can't figure it out.
Everything's getting more expensive for the rest of us.
And if this didn't profit for some people in society, this would be stopped tomorrow. This doesn't profit any group in Hungary.
No.
The government would not permit the kind of spending to these kind of companies to make this profit. in which case it doesn't happen.
Why am I working to pay for this? Like this is the near quarter of my paycheck that gets skimmed off every single month is going to house some economic chancer who's probably been in prison.
Yeah, they are. What a wonderful society we live in. We have the next one here. Because we're actually in the wrong.
Oh, get lost.
Some do-gooders. They're not do-gooders. It's some traitors. I don't know what the right word is.
Seditionists.
I don't know what's wrong with these people.
Fifth column.
They call themselves SOAS detainee support. They turned up at a detention center and started shouting with megaphones, asking people where they're from. They shouted back, Syria, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iran, Sudan. None of these being any of our neighbouring countries.
No.
Funnily enough. So none of these people have any right to be here, unless they came direct through one of the approved schemes. I highly doubt it's a significant percentage. If we go to the next one, who are these people doing this? Oh, look what they want. No borders, no nations, stop deportations. Cool. The thing is, they're actually achieving their goal. We barely have a border. Our nation is literally disintegrating, and we don't deport. So, these guys over here are actually achieving their political goals with zero elected power. Cool. What do they think of what's happening to these people? The fact that they're being given all this free stuff.
They think the hotels aren't high enough quality, I guarantee it.
It's the Holocaust. It's that far. We go to the next one here. This is a concentration camp. They write, the children's cries for freedom and we need your help are a haunting indictment of the barbaric British border regime. Bro, you came here.
Yeah.
We want freedom. What do you mean?
Please go elsewhere.
You're allowed to leave. Voluntary deportations are a thing.
It's like Stella Creasy screaming at Suella Braverman in the Commons questions, hysterically with everything scripted. One, it's just your NPC tracked where you're manufacturing emotional outrage. Yeah. And two, she was literally saying, oh, these hotels aren't good enough, where Suella Braverman was going, okay, here's 1 4-star, here's 1 5-star, here's this. They're getting better treatment than any of the veterans who are homeless and on the streets.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's that hotel there, one of the ones I spoke about. 100 meters from there's another beggar, and he's a druggie. He's a beggar, and he sleeps rough every night. He has infinitely more right than some beggar from France. That's just what these people are.
Yeah.
Too bad, though. And we're not witnessing the only group that have decided this is the Holocaust. We also have the journos, the people in Westminster with their verified check marks, the lord and ladies of Twitter. Suddenly it all feels a bit 1938, writes one man. Ha ha ha. Aren't I right, guys? You have no idea. You've never been to these people and spoken to them, have you? You just sit in your ivory tower in London. Because indeed, it is just like the Holocaust, actually. If we go to the next link here, we can see an artist rendition of the Holocaust as it really happened, which is and stay out.
Yeah.
Next time, brother, we'll get into Auschwitz. That is genuinely what these stupid morons think. And we'll end it off with something that, if it hasn't annoyed you enough already, this certainly will. Our favourite LBC host decided to come out and join in with the conversation. A postcard. Dear Suella Braverman, this is what the invaders built in Seville. Wish you were here, Sanjita. What we're looking at is a mosque built by the Muslim invaders of Spain.
Yeah.
That had to be forcibly removed by war to reclaim Spain in the Reconquista. And she's bragging that this is what's happening to England. She's saying that this will happen to England as well, and it's a good thing. I don't know what else this tweet is.
There's an apocryphal story about Spanish tapas and tradition. The reason they give you chorizo and red wine is to determine whether or not you are Muslim. And it is hundreds of years old because they were concerned about the invaders re-entering simply because they did so many rapes and murders and they destroyed so many cultural artifacts of the native Spanish. It's like, right, okay, yeah, it's not...
And Sanjita is like, well, that's exactly like the boat people.
Yeah.
I guess the mask is off. And she's like, well, that's a good thing. That's her message from all
I'm
that.
so angry, I'm despairing.
Yeah.
Like, I hate it. I hate it.
There's a reason I'm on Suicide Watch. I'm joking.
Don't do it.
But it's just the madness of what we're looking at. I don't know if we can scroll down, because John mentioned earlier, there's actually a response in here, because someone says, well, isn't this horrible? Why would you want this to happen to the UK? And, there we are. I think it's that one. Which is, the invaders also killed many of the native population, but hey, nice slave-built buildings. And she responds, oh, just like the British did then.
I didn't do anything. Stop ruining my life.
No, this is revenge that you need to suffer, which is that the sea people are just like the Moorish invaders of Spain, and what will happen to us is deserved because of what the British did in the past. Thank you, Sanjita. truly leading Britain's conversation. If you appreciated that segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content we have on the site, such as the premium videos we do, this one on the politics of Black Panther. If you'd like to find out what else we're putting out, you can follow us on Getter at lotuseaters_com on Getter. Thank you and goodbye.